welcome to all the listeners and all the viewers who have joined us on our YouTube channel as well as the Spotify channel. This is the first edition of the CREDAI podcast knowledge series, which is specially curated by the CREDAI National Youth Wing. Today, we have a very interesting topic, which is the digital transformation in real estate sector. Joining me for this conversation is Govind, who is the co-founder of Insomniacs. Insomniacs has done some fantastic work in this digital space. They work with more than 200 brands. They worked on more than 1,000 projects, have generated more than 1.6 crore leads, have sold real estate worth 48,000 crores and 57,000 homes. And the journey continues. Without wasting time, I'll straight away get into the first question to Govind. Welcome, Govind.
Thanks a ton, Harshul, and I'm glad that you have taken the initiative. And I'm wishing you all the luck. And I'm really proud to be the first guest on your podcast.
Thank you. Govind, digital transformation, social transformation. You know, for real estate developers who've always believed in the traditional way of selling, which is putting up using the traditional media and working with channel partners, is this a journey they should be embarking upon?
Sure. So let me put this straight. I have been working with real estate developers now for almost 12 years, and I really know the pain that you guys go through. All right, and there are 100 things to do. And that's the reason I've also seen that people usually, when they go about making a business, marketing becomes a very important propaganda or an attribution that they really need to focus upon. But largely, real estate developers realize that it's a construction quality, it's deliveries. These things do matter as well for real estate, and marketing a lot of time takes a backseat. But there have been a series of developers who have actually shown that by focusing on the right kind of marketing, the cash flow, the top line getting more and more, there's a formidable business that can be built, and that has created a little bit of an understanding for everybody that you got to go out and reach out to the market, and also the market has really evolved over what it was 2 decades back to a decade back and to now. So let me put to the first point. When we talk about digital or technology, of course, the penetration that happened in the real estate space has been much lower compared to how it happened for other sectors, which is e-commerce, fashion, it could be FMCG, and that has been something that people have literally seen. But real estate, to be honest, till 2014-15, it was the whole digital play was in a very nascent stage. It was largely, we will attribute that 2017-18 onwards when people started understanding that how marketing into the traditional media, which was getting expensive, and the digital could actually help them save cost. And there's one thing which is called CAC, which is customer acquisition cost. We started seeing that people were putting more and more attention towards this phenomenon. So real estate largely, unlike e-commerce, was never going to be sold as a brand awareness budget. We realized that it was always going to be about, this is the money we're spending, this is the ROI we're getting. And that's where we realized that the future of marketing in real estate is going to be focused there. And there are very less number of people who are really working. And that could have been leveraged only when we really understood what can digital really do with the help of Meta or Google. But there it was important to understand how do we communicate and how do we leverage technology. So to answer your question, the digital transformation journey for a real estate developer is a definite yes and requirement, because it was COVID, yes, where you felt that it is going to be helpful and it is a must now. But let me tell you that the whole AI wave and the digital transformation wave which is kicking in, there is no way that another 3 years, 4 years down the line, why all of you are not going to shift to this part of the bandwagon. The only difference is going to be those who are going to be starting early, they will see and reap larger advantages to the people who will be shifting on this bandwagon later. So you can choose to not shift there and operate the way you're operating. But the digital transformation journey, largely whoever is taking is going to see a huge difference in top line, the cost saving, the operational efficiencies, and the winners are going to be coming from there. So let's say a developer who's doing a 300 crore and he has to target 1,000 crore. Typically, previously, it would have taken a lot of time for him to scale. But with the help of taking the digital transformation narrative, they can do it much more faster, much more efficiently. And to answer the last part that you asked, the digital transformation journey is just about seeing each and every pain point where the physical interventions are causing efficiency losses, and how you can actually automate that journey, leverage technology to build a model around each and every operation of yours where everything gets automated.
So clearly, yes, absolutely. Martech is the buzzword which is there in the industry right now. But in the last 5 years, especially,
Yeah.
how do you see the landscape really changing, especially given that, of course, the pandemic was the accelerator,
Yeah.
but still, given the way there is a lot of expectation with real estate that, it's a touch and feel product, people want to experience this. Will it be a hybrid model where digital will also be in play as well as the importance of physical sites will remain, or will it be a complete replacement with regards to given the way VR is shaping up, given the way various new technologies are coming?
So that's always been a debate. Like there's always been a one major debate that real estate broker ke bina bik sakta hai kya, right? And I know there's been huge. And I myself, when I saw housing.com coming out with slice view and things like that, I was like, oh damn, maybe it can.
And especially because a lot of developers, 90%, 80% of them, have distribution through channel partners.
True that.
So, given that,
True that.
what do you feel?
So here again, there are two parts to it. One, when you talk about what in the MarTech domain, the visualization and hybrid, when you talk about these three things. So let me tell you, I'm more of a guy who believes that it will be largely hybrid. And why I can say that is, yes, real estate is a touch and feel phenomena. But then I also work into this category called branded land, where there's a major brand called House of Abrandan Lodha has been operating, and they have literally made me realize that everything can be done virtually because there's no physical intervention or no physical touch point at all. That's selling land. They have their proposition sorted, but everything happens over a virtual call. So that's 100% happening purely via the digital medium. There is no physical intervention. But at the same time, when I'm talking about family homes, when I'm going to be buying a home where I'm going to be living for 5 to 10 years, so as an end user use case, that I'm pretty sure is always going to be physical. We have always talked about that, yes, कि पहले कस्टमर्स को 15 घर लेने थे, वो फिल्टर आउट करने के लिए पहले हर 15 को विजिट करते थे. Now they are filtering out with the help of these visual tools which are the 7 8 homes that we'll physically visit and then finalize. So and then there is an investor category, right? NRIs who are investing in India, they're sending somebody, or they're just believing in that brand and they're investing. So these are the plays which are coming right now. But then family, I'm saying what metaverse is really up to, and I'm really a huge fan and a staunch believer that yes, that can change the marketplace. There's a company called PropPR which has been operating right now largely in India, and in Dubai they have created a whole Dubai landscape in metaverse. And I don't see a reason why, if I have to invest in Dubai market, why I can't see everything that I wanted to see. I don't have to go to a classified platform. I can actually see the city, choose the building, see my locality, and choose my floor plan, see everything. And actually, if I have a belief system, I'll just transact, right? So, largely, as I said, it's an investment-driven relationship. It will happen digitally. It can happen digitally. End user physical touch base will be needed, and that's where the brokers also come in. So when I say market, literally, I'm very confident that 4 to 5 years down the line, more than developers, it's the broker fraternity which
Wow.
will be leveraging this technology much faster than the real estate developers. Because in real estate developers, if the 100 rupees you are making, your 1 or 2 rupees is going in marketing. But for this brokers who are making 100 rupees, for them 30 rupees to 25 rupees is actually marketing, right? So they are going to be much more innovative in this space. And I'm totally bullish about the phenomena where currently real estate developers will do marketing and it will continue, but they will do it largely for the brand awareness use case. And it will be the broker fraternity which will be leveraging technology in the much more efficient manner, the marketing platforms in much more engaged manner, and they will be leveraging to create better results for you and for themselves as well. So
There's
that's
one,
where the future goes.
absolutely, but there's one piece, which is always discussed within the fraternity that with regards to price points.
Yeah.
Is it possible to sell ultra luxury, luxury with technology, or is technology more an enabler for housing only below 1 crore price point?
Okay, so let me talk about first the marketing bit of it, right? So before 2019, it would have come and have said, hey, we have a proposition where we have to market something 3 crore and above, I have said, hey, let's do a branding campaign around it. Let's create awareness. I cannot guarantee you ROI. But after 2019, you got to understand Meta, Google, all these programmatic platforms, they got just stronger, stronger. And now the way they have their data classified around the rich guys also, uh, I now tell that if you have a luxury proposition, it's a brokers you go to, yes, because they know that market locally, they know the network better.
Absolutely.
But then the second best investment that if you got to do is got to be digital. Because tell me a project in Bandra, and if I really am serious, you got to have belief system, of course. And बांद्रा के जितने भी मेरे टीजी है अगर मुझे बांद्रा में बेचना है तो आई नो फॉर श्योर कि हु आर द पीपल एंड मेटा गूगल दे हैव द segmentation and classification
Right.
sorted. I can actually target. Give me a database of 100 customers. जो आपको लगता है कि ये customers हो सकते हैं हमारे. We can actually pinpoint those target. If I know Harshul is going to be the customer, I will show you the ads anytime and every time, and still the time you don't inquire if you are a serious customer. So luxury now, I believe if you're selling luxury, just be on digital, leverage with the broker, and there's no third place that you got to be. Right.
Wow.
So only thing you got to have a little bit of an understanding that you're selling a 10 crore product, you cannot have a just a 5 lakh rupee allocated or 10 lakh rupee allocated to it. So you have a 10 crore product, give a 1%, have an understanding that okay, we will be patient to 1.5% of that as a CAC at the start. And eventually I'll promise you that the luxury products we will be able to deliver results below 1% customer acquisition cost. You won't believe there is a client of ours called CREDAI. We have their product called Modern Vivaria. We just had last month 2 bookings and 20 crore per unit
Wow.
done by digital, right?
Wow.
Now that's all that is needed. And CAC, of course, has been below 1.5% for the overall play. But that's the beauty about it. We can actually target and more information. So there's something Google and Meta has been propagating called CAPI, which is called Conversion API, where if their platforms are told that this is the right customer, so 100 leads have come, 10 leads are right. You tell them these are the 10 right leads, they will profile more customers like them. And the 90 other people which are not qualified,
Oh, wow.
their profiling will stop. That means for 4 5 lakh initially, the money is going a little bit of a wastage. But then after this qualification criteria are told to them, they become much more smarter. And that's where they use and leverage
So the
AI.
whole piece around machine learning and AI is really evolving and changing the game so far as marketing campaigns are concerned.
Absolutely, yes. And this is just the start, right? So I was just reading one of the interesting case studies that, when ChatGPT 3.5 came
Yeah.
in, at that point of time, the average age of, if it was a human being, the maturity or the way the IQ was operating, it was of a 9-year-old. But with ChatGPT 4, we have touched the adulthood. And if you
Wow.
will see the communication, now ChatGPT has launched something called ChatGPT Vision, right? Which is now talking about that you put your X-ray report, upload it, and it will tell you what's your problem. So there's no other, you don't have to go to a doctor and ask what should I do to fix this. They are getting this mature. It's just about time where, as real estate fraternity, we realize we come together and find that what are the other places we can leverage it. Simple, all these location data intelligence companies, uh, Lysis for us, CRE Metrics, PropStech, right? Initially, when they had to get the report, they will see the registration data and manually put the entry. Now, what are they doing? It's a machine learning and AI algorithms with which they're digitizing this content and giving you an understanding. And that's the reason, yesterday there's a news that Manoj Vajpayee bought a 32 crore car,
Yes.
commercial
Commercial
for
office.
projects. CRE Metrics comes out with the news in no time.
No time.
Right? How is it happening? Because the technology that they are also able to leverage, it's making them much more efficient, right? And it's going to be the race that who uses it better. And this is just one implementation of AI with regards to your data analytics, with regards to the construction technology, with regards to understanding which sales member of yours and call center members of yours are more efficient. There's so much with the help of AI we will be able to derive actionable insights and make our operation much more smoother. And this is just the start. Wait for 3 to 4 years because the maturity of this it's like an exponential curve. The initial it will look slow, but then suddenly it will start exploding. We are sitting at that cusp where it is going to start exploding, and there is no way. You have an assistant. You can actually today Chrome has launched a series of extensions where with the help of AI you can actually manage your whole day. Your video call summaries will come in no time. You will literally not forget anything that has happened
Wow.
in this interaction. This is all you need, right? Because most of our time, our guilds are about what? oh, this is what had to be done and we missed out. This
We missed
customer
out,
had to
yeah.
be spoken about this, we missed out. Imagine with the help of these tools, we are able to make these things, these leakages go away.
So going from a developer perspective, which would be the top three or four sale technologies that they should be aware about, or they should really be getting into using it from their day-to-day business perspective?
I will start with a basic understanding where where pre-sales come in, right?
Right.
Make your pre-sales much more efficient. There's amazing enhancements in technology which will be coming in, which will level one give an understanding about where which pre-sales members are not much efficient. Also rating your conversation. Right now we are building this as well, where the conversation which are happening, it can be rated. कि वो script से कितना deviate हुआ, whether the conversation was ruled from our side or the customer side, and what is the intent of this. Imagine number of calls being recorded, and AI actually with the help of machine learning, they're able to predict what site visits will really happen, right? So the level one is get started with fixing your pre-sales and technologies around it. Invest money to record those conversations. So a lot of time we have seen that कि pre-sales are call हो गया, वो expect कर रहे हैं, अरे नहीं आए. Instead of that, have this cloud telephony integration sorted, put this other layers of analytic tools around it, and get your prediction sorted, which is the pre-sales to begin with. The second element that comes after it is going to be about the customer, where the customer experience comes in, is really making sure when the customer is arriving, what kind of data are we really able to pull, and are we able to create a repository around it, right? Because you got to understand, real estate is a very interesting, phenomena. Unlike this shirt that you're wearing, the company gets to know that you like this shirt. They will put similar kind of shirts next time to you as a ad, and you can come back within a month, within a 2 month, right? But in real estate, it may happen that you will come 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, but you may refer it to somebody. You are solid today, but कि मुझे घर खरीदना है, पर यार कुछ गड़बड़ हुई है, मैं 6 महीने 1 साल के लिए postpone कर दिया. So there are multiple this use cases you will see. For you, you cannot be ये customer आया waste था. You have to think that okay, this customer might come 6 months down the line. At least store the data in the right manner. Get as much information possible. It will give you insight where the customers are coming from as well. What are the trigger points that they are having? Right? Why are they buying it? So there's a case study that we did. There's a brand out of Thane which we had called Rona Group, where when we were doing it, we realized that hey, 18% of our customers were coming from Navi Mumbai. And after working for 2 years, I didn't really know that that we were not capturing that data. That opened our mind that if 18% were coming from Navi Mumbai, how did they come? They came because some other sources talked to them or they're searching, but we never made any efficient effort to reach out to them. And that's where we started leveraging more of this location intelligence data points. यार फिर हमने देखा कि actually में हमारे यहाँ पे जो bookings हो रही हैं, उनमें registration में data available था, that we were living somewhere else in Navi Mumbai. And then we started focusing on them better. We started looking at it that okay, then there is something interesting where today when you go to any place, you're using your GPS. You get this access on the console of Google कि आपको पता चलेगा कि आपके customers ने कहाँ से log in किया, कहाँ से journey शुरू की. Can you leverage this data as well? And that's where the second element of our customer experience comes in. Get their data as much as possible. The third part in fixing the sales part is going to be about how you're communicating with them. How much of predictability are you able to add to them, which is regards to the moment they are stepping out. If your team has promised that we're going to give you a brochure, we're going to give you a content, how can you automate it? Not leave it on people to remember that, oh, unko bhejna tha, and as a company, you're sure shot. This is called workflow automation. Right? So workflow automation for every company is a must. Why do you really need to do this thing again and again and again and सबके phone को आप अलग individual level पे आपने छोड़ा हुआ है? Just create a central tool where workflow automation ensures that every customer who's coming is going to be treated in a certain manner. उसका revisit है तो ये content जाएगा, पहली बार आया तो ये content जाएगा, third visit है तो ये content जाएगा, and get this sorted. And the sales का the very effective part I will say is the fourth layer would be, since you asked for four, is going to be the post sales phenomena. Post, right? There are multiple brands like I've seen Hiran Mani gets a great amount of 25 to 30% of their customers via referrals. Aurora as well. We have seen multiple brands here, in form of Mayfair, in other places where the referrals do contribute to a large amount of sales. So what do you do to engage with your customer post sales? If they have grievances, how do you address it? How do you build a relationship over a long period? You cannot think, okay, अब तो एक बार, बकरा halal हो गया, so छोड़ दो. You cannot think that way. You got to think that okay, these guys are going to be your mouthpieces, and they're going to talk, and if not, they will be the one who will be validating it, if nothing else.
So especially with social media, the way it is evolving, it's a double-edged sword, right?
Sure.
Because brands earlier, if it took 2 or 3 decades to be created, today, I mean, in a matter of months, you could literally create a brand or destroy a brand which is built over decades also.
Absolutely yes. Absolutely
So I
yes.
think that is clearly an area where engagement is extremely critical.
True.
Now let's come to this entire space around green tech, where
Sure.
the whole sustainability piece is really picking up. There is ESG discussions in corporate boardrooms. A lot of our members also do a lot of commercial real estate, a lot of non-residential real estate. How do you see the marry of technology, which could enable green tech, and is enough being done in that space, or it's more a conference conversation, or more just a jargonized conversation, or is there really action on ground? What is your take on this?
So I'm glad that you asked this question, and I will keep it straight, shoot, because this is not a domain which I represent, but I have a very keen interest in this, and that's why, like I have run a podcast where a lot many my guests belong to this fraternity, right? Who are working into the sustainability space, and they're trying to create an impact. And what I understood was mind blowing, right? One thing is the impact with the ESG norms and the global phenomena, global warming that you're doing. At the same time, there's a very interesting part with regards to tangibility that they told me that कि कस्टमर की लाइफ साइकिल का आपका जो मेंटेनेंस का कॉस्ट है वो 20-30% हम जिंदगी भर के लिए रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं.
Wow.
Right now, forget about the impact to the environment. This is a lucrative
Economic,
phenomenon,
yeah.
right? Customers at the end of the day they want discount. Why the developers are not talking that okay आपका घर डिलीवर होने के बाद आपका 10 रुपए का स्क्वायर फीट का जो मेंटेनेंस है वो 7 रुपए होगा 6 रुपए होगा. So there's a good pitch that they have got. Do are they able to penetrate well? Is it just a talk into this events? So I will say definitely yes. The overall adoption is really, really judged. These guys who are doing some amazing stuff, they are not finding that kind of traction which they should have, or what Western counterparts are really up to, right? Though with regards to the government initiative of their targets of 2040, then 2050 of getting carbon neutral, I'm pretty sure there will be more strict norms coming in from each and every developers. But there's a lot many interesting phenomena. I interacted with somebody who was operating into STP space, and how it is contributing, and how what are they doing something different there. Then there's in air purification. Then there's I'm really glad there's a Ajmera as a brand. I'm very happy that somewhere we knew, and there's a company called Porthole Raja which is making roads, in the internal roads, right? आपके जो
Wow.
real estate projects हैं उसके अंदर के जो internal roads हैं वो बना रहे हैं जिसके अंदर they have a very great approach where they're using plastic recycling. They have a product called GridMat, and they make sure that it is not just sustainability side, it is covering the ground, but at the same time they have an offer where you can actually replace the road from one side to another. So the construction आपका चल रहा है आप use करो, आपको दूसरी construction side पे ले जाना है, you can actually pick the road take it somewhere else. So there are interesting things definitely happening in this space. I'm very bullish this space will pick up very fast. I can't pinpoint when exactly. Adoption definitely is a huge, huge, huge concern. And guys like you, the channels like this will definitely help create more and larger awareness, which we need to create. Because as I said, I understand hum log, as a businessman, we have to look at our top lines. But here, there's a different impact that can create. And there's a conversation that I saw that there's something called green fee that that can be plugged in to the customer, because a lot of time developers को problem ये होती है कि sustainability के सारे efforts comes with the cost loading, और ये cost loading को आप डालोगे कहाँ, customer को दोगे. So like the big brands are able to do it, they can afford to because they are sitting at the 30-40% premium. Not every developer can, and वो cost loading को कैसे customer absorb करेगा. But that's where I realized that imagine a future where this green fee is actually a pride factor. The customers are coming in and saying, boss, if you do not have a green fee, I'm not going to buy. And because they know the green fee will ensure that उनका lifetime में maintenance cost के against में इतनी बड़ी saving होने वाली है, and that awareness once created, I believe all the developers will realize that okay, there's a value chain to it, and for them to put that cost extra will not be a difficulty. If it becomes
That's a very interesting concept, green fee, and that could actually, really create a green revolution with
True that.
regards to construction. Coming to construction, which are the technologies which have really impressed you? Because we see these videos about homes being 3D printed.
Yes.
We see these videos about buildings getting created in 20 days, and it was a proud moment for India also, where L&T actually did create in record time some master layouts in Navi Mumbai. Which are those few technologies in construction space which have really impressed you?
So, honestly telling you, this landscape is very huge. I will not say that I have mapped it all, but yes, a lot of companies that I have interacted with. A few of them I'm gonna tell. So there's one company that I interacted, which I love, which again their pilot happened with this Meta group called Kaizen AI, where they said that two buildings in the Vadala project called Aeon and Xeon got done, but in Trion they used this technology that they had, or the service that they gave. It made sure that they're able to increase the top line of the product by 400 odd crores, and that's a great efficiency when it comes to the designing of a particular product and the whole design, the way it was done. The second that I realize that is a huge problem is onto the quality control side of the narrative as well. In construction, the quality also matters. Something that happened in Gurgaon with Godrej was an alarm, and I'm pretty sure it's not the Godrej as a company; it's a contractor level efficiency problems, right? How do you get the quality control? And that's where I saw a few set of companies called PowerPlate, DGQC. They're doing something interesting, which I really love. This company called Falcon Brick, which is ensuring that
Yes.
you get everything, your construction, every data point is coming to you. There are multiple companies operating into BMI models to give a real time understanding of to the construction progress and how efficiently it can be done to the developers. My thing about the 3D printing phenomena, definitely it will be a future play, but for the city like Mumbai, I believe it's a little bit of a far-fetched phenomena, but definitely for the tier 2, tier 3, it could be something that we could be all looking at, and some interesting companies are arising in this domain as well in India. So yeah, that is one thing that I'll put in. One company I'm not able to recall. It is in Western world. Had read there's something called Dakri, which looks at giving the construction worker a power edge, where they can actually wear those glasses. And right now, like Meta has launched something with Ray-Ban, where you can actually do a lot of things around just with your
Yes,
glasses, right?
absolutely.
So I don't see a reason that why that technology will not merge with something like this. And the construction worker, when they are going, they can do each and everything with a lot more precision, right? Because it gives you a proper visualization around the VR. So the digital twins of the future right now, the VR, when we are talking, it is going to be talked about, or it is being talked about from the marketing perspective. I see a huge implication of it as a digital twin as a phenomena, even into the construction and the planning stages for the model towns and
Wow.
cities that you are making. Right, a city like Gift City, when it is getting made, I don't know whether you visited it.
Yeah.
So they have a, like there's a road and there's a surface below and everything. A truck can move below it, right? And when you're planning something like this, and we're talking about smart cities, the digital twins will be coming in and should be leveraged in much more effective manner. And imagine when the construction workers are also given a little bit of a replica of what, so that they can work with a little bit of more precision. That is one piece I want to see, that how it evolves, how it is adopted, and I see definitely a huge benefit coming out of the whole ecosystem to the whole
Wow. So
ecosystem.
it's more like, a five-dimensional sort of an aspect to the whole construction piece,
True.
really, where, and that's quite interesting because that will enhance the entire experience from a master planning, from an urban development perspective also.
Absolutely, yes.
Because, even before the concrete is laid out, one
True.
can literally experience
True.
the entire thing and maybe alter. Because the biggest challenge with real estate is that once concrete is poured, it's almost difficult given all the approvals have already come in.
True.
And BIM is an interesting one which is operating in that space, and we all trying to move in that direction. Right now, for developers, technology is really SAP and Salesforce,
Yeah.
probably for the ones who are a little more advanced.
Absolutely.
What more should be the technology that a developer should be really looking at from a day-to-day use perspective, going beyond assuming the ones who already have SAP and
Yeah.
Salesforce, and for the ones who do not, I think those are the two basics which one really need to have in their organization.
Okay, no, that's a little bit of a. So I'll tell you, this is a core area that we work in. So I'm gonna tell you something interesting.
Yes, that'll be
One,
good.
one that why after interacting with all the big fours, I realized that SAP is irreplaceable, right? Where the moment you have to scale a business and you have to attract PE funds for the future, SAP is replaceable. They look well, so ERP is definitely there are multiple options, but SAP eventually is the final progression where you have to be. Why? Because I've understood a few fundamentals there that why PE funds and everybody looks at the reports which comes out of SAP because you cannot alter it. Every other ERP doesn't give you that surety, right? So that I realized that okay, this field eventually everybody will graduate there. ERPs, अगर आप शुरू कर रहे हो और SAP की billing is very high and you are typically below 1,000 crore or let's say 700 crore.
Yeah, that's
right. If you're 700 crore below top line, operate with an ERP, which are available in the market, which are good. Like there's Forvision, there's 4QT, there's Strategic, there is Info Velocity. I believe these are the four that I would say that take any of them, they're pretty good,
Nice.
right? The moment you are maturing to more, then you got to have SAP coming in. I told you the reason. Then comes the real challenge. Right? What do you do after that?
After that,
right?
yeah.
Because a lot of these ERP companies have made an attempt to get to the CRM side of the narrative, right? SAP doesn't do that, of course. The problem is the CRM use case is evolving very fast. So these ERP companies, none of them have been able to do true justice to the future. Like the solution that you will find today is actually sitting somewhere solving a problem of 2014 and 15, not solving today's problem, which is simple. There's something with regards to in your marketing play, if you have to use, there's something called marketing attribution. There's marketing mix modeling which comes in, and the series of such implementation of AI which are not available to them. So now the second part becomes much more of a challenge. There, the best product without doubt is going to be Salesforce, right? But the problem is the cost that Salesforce comes with is gonna drive anybody crazy.
So you really need that scale, otherwise
You need that scale, and I'll give you a simple benchmark that you have a team of 100 people, you got to be paying anywhere between 1 crore to 1.5 crore. And the problem there comes is as a developer, because Big Four has suggested you will take it. But your team doesn't even use as a 10% of the whole subscription they have done, right? And Salesforce to really deliver the right results for real estate developers, there are other one or two, three paid packages that you will have to take, which will drive your billing even faster. So I have seen a lot of developers where they have a 300 people team, 100 are using Salesforce, 200 are there on Excel sheet. So the whole narrative around digital transformation is not getting completed, right?
Right.
So that's where we realize, I believe this is a space where we are operating a lot, where we have found a solution where after Salesforce, those who are on Excel sheets, how they can be automated, they can be brought into onto a platform where they can leverage a technology which can talk to Salesforce. So that's one place where we have effectively worked. The second space, which I believe, which is maturing, and so far solutions were not available, and we found need gap there, and we are operating in this space where we are telling that hey, every business is different, operational styles are also different. The fundamental layer is same, but there are few, like how do you do reporting, how do you do a certain business, because there's so many things, right? As a developer, you could be there in commercial, in residential. In residential, you could be there in leasing. Commercial, you can be leasing as well or selling as well. Then there is retail. How do you put all these things together? And that's where we have started talking to a lot many developers where we can bring their costs down if they decide to go upon a journey which is a custom made journey for them, right? And that was a space where we were non-believers.
In fact, I'm gonna pick your brains on that. Whenever one talks about technology, one always looks at it as a cost center. It's an investment one has to make with future returns which may or may not come. But what is your experience with regards to it being actually a profit center or a saving center, really, with regards to the company? And any examples that you could highlight where this really makes so much of a commercial case to have technology rather than just going with the flow.
Sure. So that is one of the largest value chains which everybody has ignored so far. Technology implementation and adoption definitely is going to be a challenge. We got to believe it and then fight for it. But the most important result that it carries is it definitely is gonna save a lot of cost for you. So let's say you're a developer on a 300 crore top line, and your expenses are sitting at 250 crore. Okay. I promise you, if the technology implementations are done right, these expenses could be drastically brought down to 225 to 230 crore. That's a 20 crore saving on an investment of nothing more than 30 to 40 lakh in year one on the technology. But the problem is the right ROI? It is the right ROI. 30, 40 lakh rupees invest kar rahe hain, 20 crore you are able to save. And I believe that's a surety that any good company in technology space who understands this will be able to offer. But the game becomes even bigger the moment you are trying to scale. So I'm not allowed to quote the name of that company.
Of course.
But there's a company which we are working with which has got a 10,000 crore plus top line. And there are some system implementations that we have done for them. Around 5 phases which we are working upon. 2 phases got delivered. And in the first 4 months, we got an understanding from their team, which got presented to the CEO, that this platform help them save 160 crore in their overall operational inefficiency and expenses side. Right? Now we're talking that kind of a number. I'll tell you,
that could be a small project in itself.
I'm telling you, yeah. So think about it, right? And the beautiful part, the money invested against it is just like peanuts compared to what saving in the first 4 months it has happened. And the great part, whenever that we're talking about building a custom technology, good part here is that most of the data is there with you. The server costs are there. You just have to look at that. The recurring cost goes lower with time. Right now, if you have to, like, of course, you do the upgradation, the cost will increase. But if you continue with the same system, your recurring cost is much lower than any of these technologies at the higher side would be mentioned. And then there's a lot of SaaS companies which are giving you an efficient understanding on the marketing side, LMS or a CRM use case. You can leverage those as well. But a surety I can give you is there's a typical 20-30% cost reduction if technology has been leveraged in the right manner. A lot of time, automation of Excel sheet is also a technology. And a lot of CRM is being sold with that promise, right? But that's not right. You got to really understand which CRM are you investing into, which ERP you are investing into, what ERP is going to do, what CRM is going to do, and they are talking to each other or not, and what peripheral technologies. So there's a wave coming around, something called CDP, right? Which is called Customer Data Platform.
Right.
Customer data platforms are gonna be a must. E-commerce and everybody has been using it for a very long time. Any developer, again, 300 crore top line, they should invest into a CDP. Any developer who's doing in one vicinity 4-5 projects, right? I know here that there's a brand called Dosti in Thane. They have got such spread. CDP, such solutions are gonna be.
Oh, that's a great insight because of late we've seen that a lot of developers prefer to stick to micro markets. They don't want to experiment, go beyond, and which is where often they believe that they don't need the technology because they are pretty much settled in that micro market. So with ADP and CDP, you could highlight how developers who are operating in a specific micro market could actually leverage the technology to their advantage.
Sure. With regards to them not leaving their catchment areas is largely a lot of time is a business call, right? Because they know why. Like in a car developer is going to be there. Car developer, right? I understand that now, right? And you can do the same top line while spreading your wings, right?
No, makes sense.
But that's a business call. But from the marketing side, let me tell you some interesting phenomena here. So CDP can give you an understanding where when you know the funnels very well. It's simple like आज बोरीवली में भी ऐसे projects हैं जो 3 BHK 3 करोड़ में दे रहे हैं, लो परेल में भी है जो शायद 3 BHK 3.5-4 करोड़ में दे रहे हैं, right? What is happening here? The customer का profile of purchasing power is almost similar. His affinity towards a location is what that is changing, right? And that's very interesting part. And I believe more and more infrastructure wise, when we're going to grow, this thing is going to get much more equalized, right? कि चलो खार बन रहा है, सब महंगा रहेगा, but बाकी जगह rate consistency आने लगी the moment the infrastructure gets to a right.
So in fact, I've been talking about this theory for a long time. Due to development of infrastructure, probably one Mumbai, one price, leaving pockets which are premium ones.
There is no doubt. Any city you will see where the infrastructure has done well, the prices have actually equalized, right? So what I was trying to say here is a real estate developer, let's say, is in Thane. I'm going to take an example of Thane, and उसके 3 projects हैं. 2 BHK एक जगह 1.4 करोड़ का है, एक जगह 1 करोड़ का है और एक जगह 80 लाख का है. 80 lakhs, 1 crore and 1.4 crore. Now the beauty is, this as a basic logic. You know कि ऐसा हो सकता है, and you want your team to कि 1.4 crore में नहीं set हो रहा ना, तो you send him to 1 crore, you send him to 80 lakh, you talk about it. But are you very sure as a real estate developer that you are able to analyze the full efficiency of every customer was put across in the right manner or not? So that's where a CDP, ADP, or the technology play comes in. Our suggestion on the digital marketing side, we always say to those developers who have got same vicinity with team project, don't market the other two projects, right? At least on the lead generation side, do the branding side if needed. Uh, Create the lead generation on the top of the funnel, which is 1.4 crore. The beauty is 1.4 crore K, and there are multiple people who will be actually setting up for 1 crore and 80 lakh. We've done that. And that is what it's a cost efficiency we bring in. So on that project name, the CAC will look like 2%. But for other places, we are playing under 1%. On 3 project average, I'm actually sitting at 0.5%, 0.75%, right? Wow. Now, the CDP helps exactly here, where I've already profiled the customer. Now I know that, और ये customer की budget 80 लाख थी, मेरे पास आज 80 लाख का project available नहीं है, पर 3 महीने बाद है. Correct. Now my CDP will take care of it, that when the 80 lakh project gets rolled out again, I will be able to target him. My cost to reach out to him is going to be almost going to be like peanuts, very, very much zero, right? And that's where we save the money in the marketing side of it. So, and typically this works efficiently in the broker use cases. When the brokers are doing, because that's their model, right? They take a catchment area and they have to derive it. So brokers, they benefit as well. That's beautiful. And developers, yes. And developers with a profile where they're working in two different catchment areas, but the price profiles are same, they can again leverage it. Because as I told at the start, something called CAPI, right, where it is getting the hold of your profile with regards to your data around your income slabs, right? And they will be able to understand and get to the income slabs in the right manner. The only thing that you have to fix is the affinity to that location, right? So, but at least you're targeting the right set of audience. The ads are being shown to the people who really are in the right price point. And you're not seeing a guy who's going to buy a 10 crore home is seeing an ad of a 20 lakh home. That's where things go wrong. And that's where all these technology integrations helps you drive better understanding कि आप digital के जो budget को leverage कर रहे हो with the help of technology. You target right people. Don't waste a single money on a wrong audience. Right? That's the power of digital in today's time. It's not a print ad I'm going to wake up to and a guy who's driving an auto will see the same ad to the guy who's sitting in a penthouse.
Wow, right? Yeah, the customization is the beauty.
Absolutely, yes.
Govind, at CREDAI we have members from across India, more than 225 cities, more than 25 states. And let me, make it a little more macro. So from zones perspective, in the North Zone we have NCR, South Zone we have a lot of tier one metro cities in the form of Hyderabad, we have Chennai, we have Bangalore, which is doing fantastic. And in the Western Zone, of course, you have Ahmedabad, MMR, and Pune. Okay. Which are the different technologies, or which is really picking up the most in which zone, and what are the trends at the macro level? Really, if you could give a national snapshot.
Sure. See, the foundation level technology play when it comes to real estate operation or the reach out with regards to marketing platform, more or less will remain similar. But a certain trends, if you ask me that, if I have to talk about based on our experience, then I'll tell you some points around each and every play areas. So, if you know that my career in real estate started from Gujarat, okay, so largely Ahmedabad, Surat, Rajkot, Bhavnagar are the locations that I saw. And I had to run away from Ahmedabad in a way. Why? Because digital was not penetrated at all. Right? The people engagement with technology was really bad. That's where we realized that okay, Bombay is the right place, and we came. So we were doing advertising there; it was good, but digital penetration it was largely Bombay. And why? Because people have to engage with a certain platform, give their leads, and for us to call them. That was not a culture which was really there then. So Bombay worked pretty well. Of course, with time we have seen that the lead cost and overall operation cost on the marketing side and digital has increased a little bit. But then we ventured into Bangalore and we realized because of the TG, it changes drastically. हमें बॉम्बे लगा कि बॉम्बे peak है, but the real peak is sitting in Bangalore. The real peak was sitting in Pune. Now why? Because if you see the customer profiling compared to what Bombay has, तो आपका average buyer जो Bombay का है, उसका age कम से कम 5 साल 6 साल ज़्यादा है compared to an average buyer in Pune and a Bangalore market. They are young guys, largely the whole motion has been driven by this IT sector boom and technology boom largely. And the engagement there with regards to the technology interfaces was much more higher. And that resulted in the kind of results we're able to drive for the real estate developers in those markets. It's much more efficient than Bombay also, right? We went back to Ahmedabad and this time, like, 1.5 year back, and we saw now it's a very different wave altogether. So I'm not saying it's at par with what Bangalore or Bombay has been doing, but it's much different than what we experienced in 2012 and 2013. So this brings me, if my TG is of this sort, and similarly for Hyderabad, like, quite a uh, Hyderabad is showing technology trends and the adoption trends and engagement trends, just like Bangalore. What it was showing us 3 years back. And one thing I can tell you is a target audience, which is defining the platforms, which is defining what we are doing. So for a real estate developers use case, automatically the ERP, the CRM place, and everything that we talked about remains almost similar. It's not too much of a difference that you can really code. It's going to drastically differ. But the customer purchasing with regards to how the audiences are behaving, that changes.
That's kind.
So a Google largely for Mumbai-based phenomena has been very effective, where Meta does a little lesser. But the same Meta results in a Bangalore market is much more, because we have seen the Instagram engagement for the customer who are mature enough to buy is much larger community
Larger,
sitting
wow.
there, right? So this is one phenomenon we realized. Higher ticket size, the moment we move, Google start fading away from us because they are not typical searches. Typically, we have seen a buyer pattern where the rich guys, I'm talking about ultra rich here, 10 crore and above, let's say 5 crore and above also, the rich guys, they are not too much into typical searches, right? Let me find a home which is there, available 5 crore and above. That's not happening. So Google has started fading away for us in this particular catchment area. And that's where Meta, because of the Insta and the discovery and the whole influencer ecosystem now moving in, right? Wow. That's a huge wave which is coming, which is creating this discovery about this larger projects. And the influencer ecosystem has just started. I believe in real estate is going to explode in the next 4 5 years, and there are going to be too many people making great amount of money. And real estate developer will actually invest very heavily in this particular ecosystem to reach out to their TG. Of course, there will be larger influencers, micro influencers, but the Meta as a platform for luxury market has been much more efficient as well. Then there's something called programmatic and then LinkedIn. So we are seeing LinkedIn, when we leverage it mostly for the Bangalore use case, it's much more efficient compared to a Bombay use case, right? And LinkedIn in Gujarat is totally ineffective, right? So we have seen these other trends where we have to really understand, and everything is getting linked by the TG, right? कि हमारा TG है कहाँ पे और जो audience है वो कौन से areas में काम कर रहा है. So let's say we are doing something for a DLF, and we have to target somebody in a Singapore market or a Hong Kong market. We have to really look at where the Indians are. Now आप सिंगापुर के मार्केट को जब ब्रेक करते हो तो आपको समझ में आता है कि यार हमारा पॉपुलेशन वहाँ पे है, इंडियंस है, मैक्सिमम पीपल आर साउथ इंडियंस in Singapore, right? So only 15,000 audiences where you're gonna be finding the little bit of money जिनके पास है, and they're sitting for naught. So how do I target only 15,000 people there instead of targeting everybody? So that's the whole play, and where they are. So the LinkedIn works pretty well in that case when we have to differently try an NRI, because NRI cost invariably is high. LinkedIn gives you cost at a little higher pace. So to reach out, these are the differences. With regards to technology and construction, I believe you guys know better, and I'm not the best guy to talk about it, so I'm not going to touch it. But with regards to operation, as I said, it's all fantastic, same. But yeah, the platforms varies, and there's something which is emerging in form of programmatic right now. It's getting matured now a little more, but towards the luxury side where we have more efficient cost per lead. Like when you have to do 2,000-3,000 के leads को per cost per lead को हम accommodate कर पाते हैं. Programmatic has started showing very interesting result as well, backed with native. So native as a platform, which is कि आप जो article पढ़ते हो उसके नीचे कुछ suggested article आते हैं. Bangalore native is doing pretty good for us compared to Bombay, and even Pune is doing good in native. So these are the few ways where the marketing reach outs are getting better, and how we are leveraging different technology in different use cases.
Govind, let's now go to the last segment, which is the future trends, or I would say the new emerging trends around technology, which emerged during the pandemic. So we saw words like tokenization, NFTs, blockchain getting used very extensively. Cryptocurrency became a rage with people, and with crypto we saw a fall also Coming to the real estate world, and what would be the case for these concepts around real estate from India perspective, from a day-to-day business perspective, and its relevancy.
Sure. So the core technology use case here, which is blockchain, that I believe has already been established that it is here to stay, right? From the banking sector to everybody's going to leverage it. They are already leveraging it. A lot, many Indian government technologies are getting leverage on this blockchain ecosystem. So it is going to be there. Now, what comes out of it, which is crypto and let's say NFT, I'll put it into one funnel. There's a very interesting insight from Nikhil Kamat's podcast. I'll take that as an example and quote it. He said that all these things are actually like a religion.
Wow.
If too many people are falling for it, and that critical mass becomes too big, then they would have stayed and they would have continued ruling, and one day maybe they would have triumphed over the dollars, like crypto would have gone past it. And
Wow.
NFT could happen in language for our normal engagement as well, with regards to how we are buying stuff and how we are engaging with any art, right? That could happen. But by the current trend, if I have to vote, I will say that that didn't really happen in the same manner. Right? There will be a lot of many efforts which will be made to keep it alive. There were a lot of rich people money going into at least the cryptos. That looks like it is not moving any forward. But my vote to NFT definitely is not something where I can say that it's got a great future. The way it was happening at least before. As a concept, it will remain, but the trading around it that was happening was not going to be a reality for sure. And at least in the real estate buying as well, people who are buying NFTs for the land parcel online. Now, that's not the future. Because you can do the gamification, but for all these technology companies called like Epic Games and Unreal, they have to become so big that and then immersive technologies like VR have to become so much heavy with the adoption that people are really spending time there, and people will not be doing podcasts like this. They will actually do it onto the VR space itself, the metaverse itself. That is looking like a little bit of a far of a distance, but blockchain definitely is going to be a phenomena which is going to be leveraged. With regards to real estate, our transaction history, all those logs, yes, blockchain has a huge use case. Tokenization definitely will exist. There's great amount of companies in the Western market who have been onto this journey. In India, use case also, there are a lot many people because it gives you a layer of transparency if you do it, execute it right. There's a larger awareness to be made. There's a company in Bangalore called Alt DRX, which I believe is one company which is leveraging, and at least they're putting out that they're using blockchain and tokenization for the real estate transaction. And that's one company I believe it's doing fairly fine. It's on the right rise. It has the right future, but the awareness definitely is very much little. And eventually, for the consumer side, they are not looking at that आपने ये टेक्नोलॉजी लेवरेज किया इसके लिए मैं आपके अंदर इन्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ, राइट? इट इज नॉट द प्राइमरी सोर्स ऑफ द ट्रिगर. प्राइमरी सोर्स ऑफ ट्रिगर वही है कि यार मैं इन्वेस्ट इसलिए कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि आपने मुझे 15% प्रॉमिस किया है, राइट? एंड इफ यू आर एबल टू डू दैट, आई एम गोना डू इट. But definitely it's a secondary layer where okay, you're using blockchain, and these are the advantages. Oh, now I'm aware. I see a +1 over you over the other investment I was doing. I'll go with you. So those are the things. Those are the trends that we will be operating. But tokenization, if I have to say, definitely yes. Why not? Because there is no other alternative manner. It will be there because it's leveraging blockchain, and that as a technology is now adopted and being accepted all across because of the transparency it is able to, and security it is able to build. Yeah. So that would be my take on this.
Superb. Thank you. And with that, we'll conclude the first edition of the CREDAI podcast knowledge series. Thanks a lot, Govind. It was really a 360-degree perspective on technology, and we spoke about all aspects. We didn't confine ourselves only to sales. We spoke about green tech. We spoke about construction, the marketing revolution, and covering a national perspective about what are the behavioral trends across. That was it from our end, and looking forward to seeing you all for the second podcast.
Thanks a lot, Harshul, for giving me this platform, and I hope the content that we have created today is liked by all. And wishing you great luck for your future episodes.
Thank you.